What's up, guys? Subzeroark here, and if you missed it yesterday, I was playing in. Let me move my head so you guys can see. Boys' Phoenix Dark Fire tournament. This is the first sub-regional tournament in North America that qualifies for the Tacticians Trials and the Tacticians Cup, and I did pretty well in it. I went third overall. I actually had a fantastic day. We're not going to talk about the last game. Look, I'm just going to say it's unlucky. I'm not going to yap about the last game, but I had a fantastic day overall and went third overall, tied for second, but eighth place is apparently a tiebreaker. Blah. Let's just get rid of that. But yeah, I had a fantastic tournament, and am coming away with the top 4 auto qualify for the next Tacticians Cup. So I get to play in the Tacticians Cup. So I just wanted to watch one of my games from the trials and yap a little bit. If you guys want to see more games from the trials, my VOD channel is going to be posting a bunch of them, so link in the description to that if you are interested. And also, please go subscribe, even if you aren't interested, because I'm trying to get to 1K subs to get it monetized, so I would greatly appreciate that. But yeah, we're going to watch one of my games here. This is probably the last game I'm going to VOD review on this patch, because new patch comes out Wednesday. Huge patch. I'm probably going to do a video tomorrow talking about the new patch and talking about you know, what I think the meta will look like and stuff like that, so be on the lookout for that. But this VOD I wanted to talk about because, well, there's a few reasons. You'll see when the augment comes up, but I think this was a very special game for some reasons, and also I got to play a comp that has really become my bread and butter over the last couple of days. You know, I tried to play a lot of Syndra early on to the tournament, and I did actually play a lot of Syndra on this final day just because I ended up with insane spots for it. But this is a comp that I actually like playing more than Syndra, honestly. So first augment here, Endless Hunt, What Doesn't Kill You, Stars Are Born. Stars Are Born is, well, let's talk about Endless Hunt first of all. Not an amazing augment in general, and obviously I don't have a Kog'Maw. Someone else will play there. Committed to Kog'Maw in this position, so don't really want to play around that. What Doesn't Kill You is a strong loss streak augment, and so it's a pretty decent option, but I think, you know, I could potentially play for a stronger board with Stars Are Born. So, you know, if you guys remember way back when my best tournament performance ever, Shuriken Cup, I was Caitlyn one trick Stars Are Born every game. Stars Are Born plays a little bit differently nowadays than it did back then. Back then, it was really just like the tempo option, use the stars to fast 8, fast 9, really. But in this current meta where fast 9 is not as big of a thing and reroll is so strong, you can use Stars Are Born to get you a really big head start into a reroll comp. And so my thought is, I'm going to take this Stars Are Born here. I'm going to wait to see what I get, but the idea is I can pick up a Kassadin here, play for Kassadin reroll. If I find a Syndra, I can play for that as well. So that's, you know, an option for sure. But I really want to play Kassadin reroll from this spot because I have Gwynsu plus Sword open. It is, once again, good for Syndra if I were to find a Syndra. But I mean, in my head, I'm thinking there's so many people playing Syndra, I don't even really want to play Syndra. I want to just play a Kassadin game. I have this Hecarim already, which is good for Kassadin as well. And boom, here's an Ashe here, so I can pick that up really early on just to start picking up some Ashes and get towards maybe an Ashe 3, but as you'll see later, I'm really not that interested in Ashe 3. I really just want to pick up a unit earlier rather than later. Maybe we can kill some units using this this Ashe here. But this is Multistrikers. This is a comp that obviously really early on in this patch I think was very highly rated, and people were talking about it as one of the best comps. And then it's fallen a little bit off in people's perceptions of it, I would say. But I think that's really just due to people not playing it that well, and also just due to like some itemization differences. I think when this comp is played well, it can easily win out lobbies. It actually is a really good matchup into a lot of these Syndra boards, in my opinion, if you position your Akali correctly and use her to snipe backline, which is something that I'll talk about here. And that's something that I think will be really important going on for the entire set, is knowing how to position this Akali unit. Because I think, you know, I remember early, I forget which sets Yasuo it was. I'm sure someone in the comments will remind me. The Yasuo where you could build rapid fire cannon on him. Also, we're going into Carousel here. We're taking Cloak for BT. It's as easy as that. BT is one of Kassadin's best items. We have Gwynsu BT combination, so you want to go for that. It was the Yasuo that you could build rapid fire cannon on and use him to snipe backline and just one tap enemy backliners. Akali's actually very similar. Here's our Kassadin, so we can now pick that up. And all of a sudden, we actually have a really strong board. I decided to pick up this Charm, I believe, because it is going to allow me to make gold. The only downside is if maybe I reforge something bad, but the thought is I can just pick up these units on bench here and reforge them, I think. Actually, I think I realized that I should have gone for it, but I decided too late, and so now I'm just hoping that I can win this fight and make 40. But yeah, RFC Yasuo, I always interrupt myself. RFC Yasuo, you could snipe backline, and Akali, when positioned correctly, I think is very, very similar to that. I end up selling the Ashe here because I want to make 40, makes sense. But now I do really want to hold this Hecarim. I also just say, like, in this comp, when you're rolling on 3-2, it's usually pretty easy to just find like an Ashe 2, a Jax 2. You don't really need to look for them 3-starred. It's not that important. So yeah, this is how I'm thinking about this comp in general here. And I will, of course, want a 5 loss here. So I kind of full open. I think I would have actually, because Joe B is full open as well, because he is Fortune Favors the Bold, which is another reason I went to Valkyrie this game. Joe B is the person who taught me the Caitlyn Stars Are Born tech, and I'm playing against him in tournament, which is so funny that it all comes full circle in TFT. It's great. But yeah, we pick up another Cassidon here. We pick up also a Jax and an Ashe here, so we're looking really good. All we need to find for this board is one Akali and one Shen, and honestly, we're pretty close to stable. Normally at 3-2, you're rolling to pick up those upgrades. You're trying to pick up Cassidon 2, and then like Shen plus, your 5 multi-strikers, and then the Shen, and then like maybe an Akali 2 or something like that, but we're close to a lot of this stuff here, so yeah, I'm already like kind of feeling good about this spot. I pick up another Cassidon here, so 5 Cassidons already. This is the power of Stars Are Born, right? I've only really seen 3 Cassidons this game, but I have 5 because Stars Are Born gave me an extra 2 copies when I saw that first Cassidon, which feels really, really good here, especially in this comp, which is very, very tempo-oriented. You really want to be streaking late game in this comp, which is also why items matter so much. That's why I was really interested in getting this early Guinsoo BT online on this Cassidon here. But 3-2 coming up, we really just need to find the Shen, and then ideally maybe something like an Akali 2 here. Also, we're fully pre-leveled because we got all of that gold here. So Augment here, I don't want to take Heroic Grab Bag in this situation. It's probably the best out of these 3, but it's probably the worst among a lot of other combat options because we already have an Econ Augment in Stars Are Born, right? We don't want another Econ Augment because it's going to be really hard for this comp to play for a high cap if we take Heroic Grab Bag and Stars Are Born. We would be able to hit Cassidon 3 really early, but our board's going to cap very, very artificially low. We roll into Row Rejuvenation, which is a really solid augment in this comp. You just put all your units on the front row, get a ton of Omnivamp for them, which is very, very valuable for them, and it feels great in general. So I'm looking at Row Rejuvenation here. The other ones are impossible to take here, and then we opt to roll here. We pick up a Callista as well, actually, so we're at our 6th multi-striker, and we pick up the Shen here, which is really big. And I opt to stop rolling here. It's actually a pretty difficult decision if you want to continue to roll here because so many people are rolling it deep on 3-2. I could be persuaded that maybe I'm supposed to roll deeper here because I'm down a combat aug because I have Stars Are Born. It's a little bit of a scary position here, but the upside is Cassidon is just such an insane unit that you can see this guy can solo carry these fights with the giant shield, all of this damage just mowing through the entire team. So I think it was correct to stop there, especially without any real pair. The only pair I have is Hecarim here, but of course we're going to roll every round for upgrades here. Pick up a Shen there, pick up a Hecarim too, and now we're on a pretty strong spot. We can also, the nice thing about slow rolling and re-roll comps this set is that you can pick up a charm on the way. I picked up that dummy when I was rolling last round. I picked up a charm here. This is positioning. So first thing, positioning school, you're playing Cassidon and making your Cassidon wrap. So many people position like this for some reason, where they just have a solo frontliner. You'll see this a lot with like Wukongs and stuff like this, but this allows a very easy wrap to cast into the backline. So this is what I do. I put the Cassidon far left here, and the idea is this unit's gonna walk up, this unit's gonna walk up, and Cassidon's just gonna walk straight into the backline. Now we have to walk into this Rumble first, and then Akali kind of messes the whole thing up. I think ideally I should have actually swapped these 2 units because I need the Hecarim to hold a good frontline here, because what actually happens is we take a while to get through the Rumble, and Connor was smart in putting his Rumble up here to build time for this Cassidon, because now Cassidon gets stuck here and ends up walking actually back to the front line. So pretty good positioning by Connor here. I think if I had put my Hecarim in a better spot, I could have got the full wrap. And Akali can actually assist with wraps in other ways. I think this is honestly the most positioning intensive comp in the entire game, and it's really, really cool to play around. Itemization thing here. I go for a Nashor's Tooth here. I was just looking at statistics, and statistics say that if you build a BT plus a Guinsoo, Nashor's is your best final item on Cassidon, and it felt really, really good this game. Every time I've built a Nashor's, it's felt pretty good. Death Cap is another one that I think people aren't building that much, but I've built it a few times in this comp, and it's felt really, really good. We roll down pretty deep here and pick up a lot of upgrades for our board, which feels really, really good here. 6 Cassidons. Now, of course, I don't have Cassidon on the edge because I'm not really interested in having him die. This positioning is a little bit awkward, actually, with Akali on the edge here. It's not so bad, but she's just going to kind of dash to the front line. I feel like I said, positioning-wise, this Akali unit if you position her perfectly, she can do some incredible stuff. If you position her poorly, she is absolutely worthless. So, you know, she's a very cool unit in that way. Because I am on such a win streak here and I have this many Kassadins, I say, you know what, I'm going to roll here down to 40 gold and see if I pick up another Kassadin. If I pick up another Kassadin, I want to roll deeper here because once again, I need to keep my streak here. So I'm going to go for that. We end up just full swapping the other side. Kurt Engel has a pretty weak board here. So I have no real issues with fighting him. He's the person I was most hoping to fight because he's got a Cinder 1 and the Cinder 1 is just never going to be able to burst through Kassadin. So the thing I love about Kassadin is just, it's so hard for Syndra, especially early game, to burst through him. Late game, once she gets a billion stacks, it tends to be harder. But yeah, we're in a fantastic spot to off Kassadin. We only have 4 Akalis, which is a little awkward because you do really need to find Akali in this comp unless you're like contested for it. But we are perfectly uncontested in this spot, so we're certainly playing for Akali 3 in this spot as well. Pick up another sword here, which can be towards Akali item. Pick up an Akali there and a bunch more gold. So much gold this game. I think Component Anvil there is absolutely a must grab because we have so much gold and we're looking to potentially pick up Akali 3 here as well. So I think it makes so much sense to get that. And now that we're so close to casting Akali, I think you have to roll down here, roll it to 40 and then say, okay, we're 2 off Akali. So I'm going to wait a little bit on this board. And now we want to make Akali items. Now, this is maybe an area for improvement. The statistics certainly say that BT Last Whisper are the slams here. And I think BT is for sure the slam. The more I play, the more I really want like an IE on Akali. I really just want straight damage on her. So I think in hindsight, I would have preferred IE. I think the reason the stats look so good on stuff like Last Whisper and stuff like Quicksilver is that people aren't positioning her correctly. But if you position for the snipe, I think just more straight up burst damage in something like a Death Blade, something like an IE is really good. We fight Joe here, who has put together a pretty good board, but still is lost streaking. And we do end up actually beating him here with this Akali snipe here. So this is the first instance of Akali snipe in the entire game. And I'll just give you, I'll give you the keys to the kingdom. You want Akali, when your opponent has a frontline clump like this and a backliner here, you usually want Akali third from the right. And sorry that OBS is making this so, yeah, there we go. You usually want Akali third from whichever side you're on. And the idea, and you want her on the opposite side of the enemy front line of where you want to go, because she goes to the furthest unit within 3 hexes. So the idea with this positioning is she's going to jump to over here onto the right side of their front line, and that's going to put her in range to jump back line. So you can see here she jumps into this little pocket here, and then as long as there's not a unit really far back here, Olaf actually jumps so far back that he ends up out of range that Akali can actually jump to backline. So this is the idea behind Akali positioning. We'll talk about it more further into the game, but this was a perfect example of Akali assassinating backline, killing the Karma. And it's so important versus Karma. It's so important versus Syndra. And this is going to be a unit that people are going to play around the entire set. So I'm giving you that positioning tech for free. Mentorship's a pretty solid augment. The only thing is I feel like I already have so much attack speed here that I don't really need it that much. I believe that's my thought in this spot. And yeah, I see Comet Caster as an option. I say, okay, Comet Caster, going to give me a bit more survivability. So I think I'm down to go for that. Someone in my chat actually asked about teaming up here, and I didn't really think about it. But the statistics actually really like teaming up in this situation. A random support item on average is very, very strong. So it could be teaming up here. I'm not 100% sure. I decide to pick this augment up for econ, and I say I want to roll here and just pick up Akali's. And the second I find another Akali, I just want to roll it really deep. So I roll it for Akali 3 here, and we're in a great spot here. I also hold on to the Ahri because you can fit Ahri onto this board for Arcana, which is a nice upgrade. And I decide to say, you know what, okay, let's just upgrade for Arcana here. It's a big upgrade, and we're on a 6 streak, so we want to continue our streak. That's so important. So, you know, conversely to the Akali positioning last time, our Akali positioning here is pretty bad because I didn't have time to go for it. When she is same side, when she is on the side of the enemy front line that you don't want her to be on, she ends up doing exactly this, where she's going to jump into the enemy backline, but because there's another backliner here, this is actually closest unit, and so she's going to go there. If this Gallia was dead, she would go backline here, but you need to be really careful with this Akali unit, because if there is another unit on the front line that is furthest, then very often she jumps back in. I also end up selling Jax 2 here to make econ. I don't know if this was 100% correct or not, but you know, it seems fine. Pick up Xerath here, and we're gonna fit him on the board. Not really for his charm yet, because or for his Arcana yet, because we have picked up so few charms at this point in the game that it's not really worth it. But this is fine. We position on this side for that. for that Wukong player, which I'll talk about more later, but they keep swapping their Wukong, which is really annoying. Akali actually jumps a little bit to backline here, but then she ends up in this awkward spot where she's dashing back to frontline here. Finally, she goes corner there, but I cannot say for a second that I predicted that Akali positioning. I mean, that was just my fight. My board is stronger, so they lasted longer, so we ended up winning it, so fair enough. Going for the last Akali item here, the statistics say it's like a Quicksilver. Once again, after playing around this count more, I would have really liked just a damage item here, though I guess there's not really one that you can get. Quicksilver or Edge of Night are both the good options. I think I was looking at Edge of Night here because Edge of Night's really nice on Akali because she loves to just dash into danger. So I think it makes sense that that would be good on her. 2 more rolls for a charm here, so I'm going to opt to not roll for that. And yeah, I'm really just trying to wrap on this Wukong. So let me scout the Wukong player again. The idea against this Wukong is hopefully, because they're solo frontlining, if they do something like this, I can do the same thing I did last time against Connor, where I can just put my units in a line, put Cassidy on the edge, and he can walk up and wrap. That's the hope with positioning like this. So I end up going for this. But this player makes a really, really good adaptation. They're being very, very diligent with their scouting. They move their Wukong over here, and it's so tough to get through this triple gargoyle monkey here. Akali dashes back and ends up getting a kill here, but she doesn't end up finishing off the Jinx here, which is another reason I just feel like burst is so important on her, because if she had actually had enough damage to burst down the Jinx there, maybe with something like an IE, maybe we would win this fight, but she doesn't have the burst, so we end up losing, and it's very, very sad. But in any case, we lose our streak, but, you know, not all good things are forever. I know that I want to just preserve HP at this point. We've hit most of our board, so I roll once for a charm here, pick up a decent one, and yeah, we're just trying to keep our Akali in a good spot where she can potentially jump backline. This is another spot where Akali looks pretty decent here, though there are a lot of frontliners here, so yeah, she ends up getting stuck on there. But look, this actually looks pretty good, right? Akali here, these units have walked too far up, and so Akali can just dash straight to backline, and she ends up actually tanking a little bit here, allowing Cassidy to walk up. So the other thing that I want to talk about these units, and it's not something that I've done too much, but it is something that I think people have talked about before. I know Asa apparently has a positioning tech about this, is using Akali to make Cassidy wrap backline. I try to do this at some point in the game, so we can talk about it, but it's really, really interesting. The idea being that Akali can go up and body block Cassidy and kind of force him to walk backline, which is really, really interesting. Do I actually hold the Ari here? I guess because I'm thinking I can level up here. This charm, I think I do end up taking it. In hindsight, I don't know if I even really want this charm. I mean, it is AP for, it's probably correct to take it. And it's just an immediate charm. It's probably fine. But yeah, looking at last Akali item here, the statistics say QSS is best, so I go for that. But I really would have preferred, in hindsight, going for something like an IE here to give Akali that assassination potential, because I think when you are positioning her as best as you can, she can do a lot of work here. So this is a fight where Cassidy ends up, oh, I wanted to go back and look at this actually. Yeah, this is really, really smart by Connor. Connor does this, and a lot of people have been doing this against me when I play Cassidy recently. It's really annoying. Yuumi positioning tip. If you put Yuumi is not a real unit, but she is a real unit. If you frontline her in this spot here, she acts as a real unit and blocks Cassidy from walking up. I don't know if they're going to bug fix this. They probably will at some point, because I don't think it's necessarily intended. But while it's in the game, you should absolutely use this, because Connor wastes so much time on my Cassidy in here by just putting the Yuumi in that little cubby, and now Cassidy has to walk all the way around. So really, really nice anti-melee positioning from Connor. The only downside is he is carrying a Melio too with a mage cap, which I don't know how this is even his spot, but that board in no way has enough damage to get through my Cassidy. So the count here, it's got a 1 in 8 chance of picking up a Camille here, and I say, you know what? 2 gold, good enough here, and I do actually get the Camille. I will not say that this game was not high roll. Like, my entire final day was high roll, I would say. You can't do well in a TFT tournament without having some good games, for sure. I do think I played pretty well, but, you know, obviously Mortdog was on my side for some of it. The nice thing about having more frontline in spots like this is it can encourage Akali can go to you know, like, go frontline and get through all this stuff and actually jump on backline. This fight, it was kind of awkward because they have the Eldritch guy flying in, which, you know, ends up blocking stuff out, so it's kind of difficult. Yeah, I just want to roll for better Comet Charm here, I think, is the idea. I don't know. I do end up picking up just a better Comet Charm here. I think I just picked it up so quickly that, oh yeah, I just take Lightning Strike here. Because yeah, I'm like, at this point, I'm just playing for HP. there's not really much else for my board to hit. Obviously, I can think about going 9, but that's really, really far off. So really, I just want to have good fights and preserve HP. But as you can see, I'm usually keeping Akali third from whichever side that she's on, with the idea that maybe I can jump here, jump here. Now, this is a little bit hard because they have all these frontliners, but you can certainly see the idea, right? If they didn't have this unit here, Akali would have actually jumped backline here. But this is a little anti-Akali positioning tech where you can put a unit kind of like mirrored from the Kog'Maw, like no unit, and then unit here. You can actually absorb the Akali ult here because, yeah, like if this unit's not here, then the furthest unit is either this or this. But because that unit's there, Akali actually is forced to jump up there and ends up getting wrecked. So, hey, maybe as more people adapt to the Akali positioning stuff, it'll become like harder for, other people to play around it. But it's that's another little cute little Akali positioning tech there. Item off carousel here, I'm looking at Ionic Spark here is fantastic because we don't have any MR shred at this point in the game. It's also on a Callista, which is really, really good because obviously we're playing around Callista. So I picked that up, pick up Callista 2 and shop and feels really, really good. Pick up an Earthquake here, which feels great. And yep, I'm just going to Ionic Spark our Shen because I know he's going to live for a while and move the rest of my units up. That's the other thing. Having more units on your board allows you to block the enemy frontline from walking up, which makes the fights a lot more consistent. That's something I think that makes a lot of sense as well. So we fight this guy here. Not amazing Akali positioning once again, because Akali is going to go to the left side here. She ends up getting like interrupted, which is interesting. But once again, Connor's board, I'm really happy to fight Connor because his board I feel like is the most beatable out of all of them for me because he just doesn't have that burst damage. So it feels really, really good. And we have secured top 4. But the other thing you might be looking at is that Joe B is 15 HP, but he's on an insane win streak. He did cash out his Fortune Favors the Bold, and he is beating everyone here, which is really, really scary because he's just going to be incredibly high capped. I try to outswap this Wukong here, and I think, yeah, I do actually outswap the Wukong to some degree where I'm not actually stuck on the same side with him, but it's still going to be really, really hard for me to get through this entire board with the Wukong here. And yeah, it's just after this fight, I'm like, man, I don't know if I can win this combat. This fight was actually kind of close, and so I thought was like maybe with good Akali positioning, I can make it work. But I look at Joe B's board, Connor ends up dying there. Looking at Joe B's board, he hits a lot of really, really scary upgrades, and it makes sense, right? He is so I don't actually know what his cash out was this game. He ended up with a radiant item, so I think it may have been something to do with that. But, in any case, it's really, really scary. So, yeah, for the rest of the game, I'm just looking for good combat charms and to pick up an Edge of Night here for the Camille because I think it's decent enough. But, yeah, I just want good combat charms. I don't really... Yeah, I do actually take Sticky Fingers here because I have this open component onto the Callista here. But yeah, look at Joe's board, man. He found Karma, and he's playing around Olaf. This Joe Bookmark guy actually really likes Olaf for whatever reason. But he's playing around Karma, Olaf, and then he's got a Morgana 2 and a Diana 2. Everybody's fully itemized. This spot is horrifying. He's also got Spellblades and Not Today. Like his augments and his spot just look so disgusting. I'm like, okay, maybe I can have Akali jump to backline here. The same idea, right? This is perfect Akali positioning because she's on this side, she's going to jump here, and then she's going to jump to the Karma. So that is certainly the idea. She jumps here, and then she jumps straight to the Karma. Beautiful positioning, just the way we drew it up. The problem is she doesn't have that much damage, and the Olaf killed my frontline and walked back to her, so she just ends up dying instantly, which feels so bad. Like, we drew just the way we drew it up. If this fight is, if we had like maybe a bit tankier frontline, or if Akali had more damage, we actually probably would have got that kill, but we didn't, so we end up losing to Joe Bookmark. We do get a 4,000 HP dragon here, which is really good because this is one of the best charms. But once again, we are rotating into this guy who is playing around Wukong, which is just, it's so hard for us to beat this board, I would say. I moved the dragon up to maybe soak up some aggro. And I actually position like this, which I'm just like, you know what? I need to swap something up. I can't do the same positioning that I was doing. So I'm like, okay, Akali second, maybe she can dash here and then dash to backline. And then cast in here, I'm just going to have all these units aggro into the Wukong, and maybe I can just get through him quickly enough. And what's crazy is Akali actually walks up to, like, I didn't even predict this. Akali walks into this little cubby here because this is something to talk about as well that I it kind of happened naturally. Akali walks up, and now the closest unit actually is, or the furthest unit is actually the Jinx here. So Akali bursts down the Jinx really low and then goes back. The Akali actually goes beast mode here and wins this fight, which I thought was unwinnable. So that's what I'm talking about with this Akali positioning. There's so many ways. Like this, I feel like I'm pretty good at Akali positioning, and I didn't even predict this at all. I pick up Radiant Eyes here, one of the best charms, and at this point I'm just like, I just need to kill enough. I just want to kill some versus Joe B so that I live. I position all my units onto the left side here. And I don't know. This fight is so difficult. Like, Akali dashes the middle. The Olaf is actually so annoying for the Akali just because he just runs into her face and kills her, and I just get absolutely demolished. What's crazy is Joe actually also loses to this guy, but because I lost by so much, I end up going third by 4 HP, or I guess 5 HP, because like I think I was below Joe in HP, or I think we were tied. So it ends up being a really close third. Could have been a top 2 actually if I saved some HP across the rest of the game or something like that. Won a random fight that I lost. So really close game, but I thought it was really fun to review this. It's, you know, talking about this Cassidy comp, which I really enjoy, and talking about Akali, who I think is really fun and interesting to play around. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. For anybody who was watching the tourney run, I really appreciate the support. It was so nice. It's always so nice playing in tourneys with, you know, a supportive chat and having people cheer for you. And I'll see you guys in the Tacticians Cup. Maybe I'll do some VODs on the Tacticians Trials, which I don't even have to play in. I can just skip that first weekend. It's so chill. And so yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.